Wow. Wow. I just met an amazing young woman. I had a intense urge to come to this our park, this what I call our backyard. Had this intense urge to come here, and there's a young woman. For all I knew, she was like 17 or 18 or something. But she's just kind of there's a certain spot that Bailey and I always park in to get to the park. It's I don't know, it's sort of a weird spot on the side of some houses, and she's at the end of this entryway into the park. And as soon as she sees me, I can feel in her energy feel. She's like, "Oh shit, somebody's here. Like, I gotta move now." Like I was filming, I was flowing or whatever, and like now I gotta go, which I can relate to. It's like, oh, someone else is here. They're watching me. Like in real life, they have the power to reject me in person or whatever. So anyway, so she's kind of packing her stuff up, and I'm walking forward because I'm getting ready to film. Like that's why I came here to film. I just had to. Like I need to be mowing the lawn right now, and it's like already past my bedtime. Got to wake up at 3 to go work or whatever. And but I just got to, man. I got to. I have that urge, that divine urge, and sure enough, that divine urge is abiding in divine timing. So I see her. She's like packing up. So I just say, in a really excited tone, I'm like, "I'm filming too," and that kind of opened up uh, our conversation, and we talked for a good minute. I don't know how long it was, but she's 21. I'm what, 30, 31. So she's a decade younger than me. You know what I mean? She's well, about my little brother's age. And I always connect really deeply to Gen Z. I've realized much of my music and art and everything I put out is Gen Z gets it, man. Just a little bit ahead of my time. So she's amazing. She's got a shirt over her heart says Self Love Club, and we just had a powerful conversation, and we both related deeply. She's very intuitive, very empathic, and traumatized in a lot of the same ways I am. Similar parent type situation, similar toxicity and struggles. And she opened up to me, as did I. I just continued to sort of get more and more excited and peaceful simultaneously, each of us, as we're just realizing more and more, like, oh, okay. It's like another one, right? Someone like me, someone who I can relate to, and I just love it. I mean, that's shit I live for. Like that's what I do in the studio. That's what I'm doing now, right here with you, with me. And I don't know, it felt cool, like being like an older intuitive, because I have certainly been on the other side of that. I've connected with people a generation older than me that are intuitive, that are very sensitive, like me, and it's always been it's supercharged me, and I could feel it in her energy. By the time we were done, she was supercharged, right? And I followed her on YouTube and Instagram, and she actually she proposed to just come with me and film this. And I almost, part of me wanted to jump on the thought, but I told her, I said, well, I got to go to bed or whatever, and so I need my solitude. However, let's connect on Instagram, and like we can come to the park with Bailey and film. Let's make it happen. And she asked me how many followers I had, and I was like, oh, definitely. Hi. Definitely close to zero. You know. And then I think I might have asked her or whatever, and she's like, oh yeah, I have a YouTube channel too, or whatever, stuff on there. And she's like, I follow, or she says not growing. She's like, it's not growing, kind of like that. And I go on her thing, and she's got 1,500 subscribers. I was like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? You're doing great. You're doing far better than I, as far as if you're counting it by numbers, which we sort of had that conversation. I just told her, for being in the self love club, that you are your most important subscriber. Like, as long as you are fully hi, as long as you are fully dedicated to you, you're the only person who invests. That's enough, and that she's got a solid foundation to grow from, and that she's passionate about it. And I just shared some of my wisdom that I've received through my life experience, which is all I can do. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't trying to give anybody fucking advice, dude. You know what I mean? But I can share personal wisdom that I've experienced. I'm never too attached to that wisdom either. There are things and beliefs that serve me in a season, and then I move on, and a different belief serves me. I experience a different reality. I experience a different timeline. And sometimes I won't even think about the previous or the other timelines until I'm in a moment like that with her. And I kind of relive that timeline again, or that belief, and I'm able to express it fully as if I do still believe it, because I do. Like, there's a version of me right now that's fully experiencing that reality. Like, there's a Christian version of me still that's still fully in that reality, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful story. It's beautiful to feel those and go relive that. um Being born again, if you will, like having the belief and really the experience of being separated from God, and relating to God as someone outside of me, that I need to, like, tap into these modalities to, like, uh, connect with God, to connect with source, to connect with joy, to connect with peace, to connect with happiness. And they were beautiful, you know what I mean? I experienced the lack, and then the continual coming back to receive those things, and in a way of relating to God as a parent, was very healing for me. Having the relationship that I had with my dad, And lately I've been calling my dad, well, I don't really talk about my dad a bunch, nor do I talk to him. But it came up the other day, and I called him, what was I calling him, man? Oh, the black shaman, the dark shaman in my life, I was expressing my gratitude for everything he's taught me as this dark shaman, right? Showing up in the toxicity and whatnot to elicit, or certain woundings or limitations that I agreed upon before incarnating, right? Poking those wounds, salting those wounds, so as to push me, drive me into the deeper experiences and the deeper wisdom that I came here to learn through experience. But anyway, so this dark shaman, right, my dad, learned so much, right? So much, literally. And how do I put this? In psychological terms, if you will, I had a insecure attachment with my dad. And part of that was learning detachment. Now, detachment, I just recently learned and accepted that detachment is a very holy thing. And at one point during this learning process, I was like, oh, okay, so I used to do detachment wrong. I used to have a perverted form of detachment, and now I'm learning that it's actually a part of maturing spiritually, learning how to quote unquote properly detach. However, as I stick with this process and I remain like water, right? As I'm not tossed to and fro in the sin, in the sine wave, going up and down, up and down, up and down, but I'm staying right in that middle. I'm being still and knowing that I am God, knowing yadaing, which is really experiencing. That's why I love that word. I use that word all the time. I trade that word out for a lot of words that I feel most people would say. I tend to change them out for the word experience. Are you experienced? The late, great Jimi Hendrix. We have an excellent mural of him in Freak Alley here in Boise, Idaho. Can I remember the quote that's on there? It's cool. He's like broken up. There's like all these mirrors. It's like broken mirrors that he's like made up out of like real mirrors. So I don't know if that's a mural or what the hell that's called, okay? But it's some crazy cool kind of collage. And holy shit, the ground is wet and fucking cold right now. I'm barefoot, I'm grounding. It's like a couple hours to do so before bed. Before I go out into the world. Anyway, sidetrack, side mission, rabbit hole. The quote. He says, I used to see a world full of mirrors. This is Jimi Hendrix. I used to see a world full of mirrors. You're going to have to find the rest of it yourself. I think that's the beautiful thing about the human journey, too. Sometimes you just got to go within and find it yourself. And sometimes you're meant to connect with others, you know? And sometimes others are a dark shaman. And this dark shaman comes to teach us very deep lessons. Saturn energy. The Satan in your life, if you will. The devil. The sheepdog. The adversary. The adversary plays a very, 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 very special role in your life. As a activated teacher. An angelic messenger. An angle of the divine. An angel of God. A message of God. An epistle. An apostle. An angel. That's what angel means. It means message. A messenger. Now, yeah, an insecure attachment with them, right? And that's how I learned to relate to the world. You know, this woman talked about feeling not enough. And I was like, yeah, that's my experience. But that's our experience, truly, right? That is part of this wild human journey that we are all on. And maybe some of these belief systems, these programs that have been working in our minds and our bodies, maybe they too have the Saturn energy, you know? The adversary, the liar. You can't spell life without lie. You can't spell belief without lie. In fact, lie is right dead in the center of the word believe. Because truly, On the deepest level, that is the apple. That's the fruit in the garden that we eat. In order to incarnate, in order to be existing here, we accept a foundational lie. And that might elicit a whole body response in you right now in your nervous system of saying, oh, that's bad. And deep down, I know that I do that. So I need to quickly numb or find a narrative that works to keep me from receiving that truth so that I can feel safe. And that is the function of much of our brain, is to keep us safe. But in this moment, I'm offering a safety beyond what your brain knows that safe is. And on one facet of the diamond, that's what salvation is. But see, salvation, salvage. Are you salvageable? Are your old beliefs salvageable? Is my relationship with my dad salvageable? Is my trauma salvageable? Are these lies salvageable? And I would tell you that that is the point, one of the points in the process of salvation. Because you already have all things in, through, and as Christ or God or source or fucking magic existing as a being that can express itself right now in a supercomputer. You are magic. You are the magi, the imagination. That's you. So, where was I going with that? I don't really know if I was going with that. I think I was just flowing with that, if you know what I'm saying. Allowing you to just experience the healing tones in this voice, in this expression of that magic. And offering you the space to heal, which is really just the space to feel. I'm Kid Forever, and I play with words. The particular set of words that I intended on playing with today are no more playing small. No more playing small. You know, it's wild when you devote yourself fully to an idea, a belief, a business, a brand, a mission. I've devoted myself to mission and to the vision that I have received moment by moment, and this dream that is being weaved in my imagination. I've devoted myself fully to that, and it's wild when one devotes oneself to that, building it out as a business, as a plan with other people. This is not just me by myself. This is people that I've been connecting with. We've been connecting deeply and investing our time, money, energy, our vision, our emotionally invested. And it's crazy when in doing this, when one's devoted oneself so fully to this and these beliefs, and then one realizes as he grows, as she grows, we realize that, wow, I've pretty much built my business on the foundation of playing small. Or this whole belief in this mission is centered around my programming. See, because the deeper that I dive into understanding that programming, the ways that trauma has informed my brain, the ways that my parents taught through the sacred prayer of just them living, taught me how to exist and be in relationship to myself, which is very namely represented in one's relationship with one's mother, right? Because when you're first born, you don't even know the difference between mom and self. There is no self. You're straight out of the goo, man. The oneness, the goo, the God. There is no other. There's mother. And see, you add the to other, because it's almost like a child starting to understand that there's other and that this other is communicating, and then this child will start to communicate. And that's almost like, seems like it would be the first noise, right? Like a kid's watching and there's like, right? So it's like, wow. Because they don't know what language is, you know what I mean? They don't even know they have the ability to speak. There's just some desire in seeing that other, experience that other, you know what I mean? Connecting with that other. That's all they've ever known. And then this moment, just these small moments, it's not like there's one moment, bam, a baby's like, oh, I'm a separate being or whatever. It's just over time, consistently, constantly, subtly. You realize this being is expressing themselves to me uniquely. And then you have this intense desire, before you can even formulate thoughts, to express yourself back. You hear this person and now you want to be heard. Mother. And even in that word as it's spoken, it's like this divine portal into separation, right? This is Eve eating the apple, right? This ancient esoteric story uses the feminine specifically. Nothing in that book or any of these scriptures that are passed down are really stories, myths, whatever, what have you. None of the details in any of these are by accident or by coincidence or unintentional. It's all very intentional. And let's say there was a specific writer, which usually there's not, okay? Even if we think there is. Let's say there's a specific writer, he had intentions about certain details in the story, but then other things he kind of just unconsciously did, those still weren't unconscious. Because still, the spirit behind all of this, animating his flesh, I can guarantee you, was 111% very extremely intentional about that detail. That person, that ego might not be aware of in the moment. And for me, it's always amazing to go back and then become aware and be like, oh, what? That's what happens when I do lyrics. When I'm writing my lyrics, when I'm rapping, when I'm flowing, when I'm intuitively just channeling, a lot of times that's it. I'm intuitively channeling. I'm not thinking about the words. I've started respecting and seeing. I see. It's almost like my own mother moment with music. My muse. It's like I start realizing I've been unconscious. I've just been connecting with music because it feels good, but even that seems like such a low way to express what it truly is to me. It's more than that. It's more than just wanting to feel good. It's almost like the need to breathe. It's like guitar for me was this umbilical cord. And even, right, I do a lot of electronic stuff now. I'm always using chords. So there's a better metaphor for that. There's my umbilical cords plugging in, getting that power to be able to express myself fully in a song, to flow, to get into that intuitive state. And I begin to see each song as this mother, if you will, this messenger, this angel. And I understood, that's her, I don't remember her name, but that's her YouTube channel. Amazing chick. She's got some good stuff, especially if you're an artist, especially if you're kind of aware of this whole process of being an artist and the breaking down and the spiritual emotional aspects of it. She's amazing for that. She has this quote, I quoted her. She said, a message desires a messenger who cares so deeply and feels this message so profoundly that that messenger must share it. It's not even a fucking choice. Because if I don't, I'll die. It's my oxygen. It's in utero, right? Think about that Nirvana album. What do you see on the cover of it? It's the mother, the pregnant belly, angel wings. That's what we're talking about here. That is that song before it exists in reality. That's what I'm connecting with. See, someone as the listener, let's say you're the listener and you get onto my Instagram and you hear my song, you hear my finished product. Even there, old programming coming up. I just said my song. Like I can have some kind of ownership over it. That's lust energy. That's what Immortal Technique talks about in his song, Dance with the Devil. That's that rape your own mother energy. We're not about that. Lust ultimately doesn't feel good. It ultimately is just grief and confusion and loss. Lust is lost. Lost. That's what it is. See, so lust, you've got the you, right? But as soon as you connect the top of that you, right, it's almost like a circle that's unfinished. Once that circle completes, now you're lost. And now it's going like this. Zoo, zoo, zoo. So when you're in the beginnings of lust, right, you're just kind of in that you dive down to get it, because lust is lack, right? Lust is inside you. You're saying, I'm not enough. I need something other than this moment right here. I need something other than this body or this feeling right now. So I'm going to dive down from feeling complete, from being in oneness, from being in heaven, which is just to be in reality, which is just to be in alignment, to be in truth, which is just to be you, which is just to be, which is just, which is, which. Oh no! Oh no, but don't we burn witches? You know, just emotionally, mentally, yada, 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 right? We don't kill them anymore. We just shame them and minimize them and make them feel crazy for wanting to get on YouTube right now and express themselves and connect to this angelic oneness technology that we have right here. This umbilical cord. Think about it. I got to plug this in. This has got to charge, right? Yada, yada. This is a sacred technology. So that brings me back to the song. When you use the sacred technology and you tap in, you're on Instagram, you find my song, you're listening to, you're connecting to, you're experiencing the finished product of a process and an experience that I had. And so you connecting with this finished product, right? That is the child, if you will, that I had with this angel, right? This messenger. Remember, we have the Nirvana album in our minds still. We're still meditating on that, right? Like I talked about, every detail of this video, even if I may be unconscious of a certain detail, every single detail is intentional. I promise you this. So we're meditating, we're in contemplative prayer with this Nirvana album in utero. And what is the image? What's that image? It's the mother. Prego. She's preggers, buddy. And she's got them wings. So I've connected with this angel. This angel's pregnant. It has a message. It desires a messenger. And messenger is male, which is, that's you in this ego in this body. Okay? Because male is the exoteric. Female is the esoteric, the inner. Male is the temporary. Feminine is the eternal. So a messenger then is male because he's putting out a message, right? Which is, he's putting out a word, which in the Greek is sperma. So he's the one putting out the seed, planting that, right? He's planting in someone's mind, in the conscious field. So it desires a messenger who experiences it so fucking deeply that they have to fucking share it because it's the fucking air they breathe. And this is what Tantra is. This is what divine union is, matrimony. Because now the male and the feminine have come together and she's bearing a child. And she's from up in heaven. So you're experiencing the finished product, you're experiencing the child, you're experiencing the Son of God manifesting as a male, right? That's why it's the Son of God, because it's manifesting in this reality, in the temporary, in the 3D. But that's not, or I shouldn't say that's not, that is one facet of my experience because I'm having the experience of that song before it manifests in the physical. It is a thing. It is this living, breathing thing. It exists in our imagination just as we do. That's what everything is emanating out of on earth, in the physical, as it is in heaven, the material, the mother, God, the feminine, the imagination. So I'm tapping into a real thing. This song is a real being, and it can exist apart from me. And this is this mother experience, this music, this angel that I'm connecting with. I'm feeling it. It's coming to me. I can hear it. I can hear the notes, the arrangement. I can feel the emotions it's invoking. I can even see. I can see music videos and different things for it. And I connect with it. Okay, and then I have this need. So it's in my brain, it's in my heart, it's in my body. And then I have that experience of that child. Right? And I'm like, oh, I hear you. I want to be heard. I hear you. I want to be heard. Thus, the first noise comes. So it's no coincidence. Remember, everything's intentional. That music starts with this same sound, this same vibration. It's also no coincidence that my name is Mitch. And I start with that same sound as well. Not trying to say that I'm special or anything, but I'm definitely trying to say that every single one of us is super fucking special and super fucking magic. And it's no coincidence that magic also starts with that same vibration. Ain't that tasty? Taste and see, my brothers and my sisters, that the Lord or the lowered, praise the lowered, it's that which lowers, diabolos. It's that which comes from above and then goes below. Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ, said, I'm from above, ye are from below. That praise that which comes out of heaven and then manifests into reality. You praise it. See, Christians don't know what the fuck praise is, man. Here, let me tell you what praise is. Praise is you have some incredible chocolate, okay? I'm talking like there's real cacao, and it's got the different spices that are best going to accentuate it and play second fiddle to it, like cinnamon, Okay, you know what I'm saying? Also, cinnamon is like used in the holy rituals back in the day or whatever. It's considered this holy thing. Well, I mean, so is cacao. I mean, it's still ceremonially used. Okay, so chocolate. That's where chocolate comes from. The cacao. The cacao. So praise is taking a bite of that bitch and literally, mm, it's melting in your mouth, and you have to say, because it's that same experience of almost baby being firstborn or reborn. Because they've been born, right? But now they're reborn in realizing I'm just like separate from my mom, which is eating that apple like we talked about, believing in separation, and then the snake, which is just a part of your brain basically. And part of that including the reptile brain, which is for survival and safety and for figuring out how to maneuver in this world. It's all connected, right? These different parts of the brain, all right? They're all connected, and they're operating also through your ego, and it's meant to keep you safe, but not just keep you safe, also to adventure and stuff. It's literally teaching you how to maneuver through this world. You know what I mean? Like when you start out, like you're blind, you're underwater, you're just connected to your mom, like it's complete outer darkness. Like your brain's doing a lot of work, a lot of programming to help you figure out what the fuck's going on so you can interact with this world so that you can do what you came here for. Okay, which is ultimately a good thing. So it's not like kill your ego, shame your ego kind of thing here. That's not the party we're having right now, guys. I'm just saying, you know. I'm just saying. That's that fruit that you eat, and then you're like, okay, I'm separate. The tree of life can also be seen as a central nervous system. It's zeros and ones, binary code, which is the code behind this whole matrix system, so that you can see and interact with it, and you experience these projections that are ultimately coming out of the mind as a projector through the Lucifer system, right? Because you look at the Oculus, right? If you look at the ocular scan thing or whatever, your ocular lens, how it works and interacts with your brain and your pineal gland and your eyes, it looks very similar to the seal of Lucifer, the sigil. Also, no coincidence, because Lucifer means light bringer. This is all light and photons, and we're processing that information, but it's actually coming out of here. So, but Lucifer is not God, right? He is the cherubim that's covering God's eyes. So that's why Lucifer is like the system that's up in here that's actually helping. It's like the projector system that God, source, infinity, everythingness, nothingness is using through that cherubim. It's coming through, and then through your cerebellum in your brain and all the other parts of your brain, right? You even look in some of these holy pictures, right? Like the picture of Adam like touching God, and this idea of God, old man in the sky, he's being carried by all these angels or whatever. And when you look at it, you take a step back, it looks just like a brain, because the projection of imagination and infinity and heaven and God is projecting through your brain, and then it's going out your eyes, sending and then receiving that information, which is light bringer, information bringer. Now, not only is it putting it out, but it's also then receiving it, right? That's why the cherubim is covering God's eyes. You are God, by the way. So it's covering it because it's making sure it's got to be able to only feed you information based on what? Based on certain beliefs, experiences, or programs that your brain is programmed for you to feel safe and for you to maneuver through the world. So literally, and I'm trying to remember what this other part of the brain is called. Oh, come on, please. I was saying it a bunch for a while, and I'll have to look it up again. But anyway, basically a part of that whole system that we're talking about, like your reptile brain and your ego and different parts of your brain, all right, that I'm not remembering right now. Let's not let it destroy my credibility for you, especially if you're an intuitive, highly sensitive. You can just feel what's happening right now is real, all right? And if you don't, all right, click away. Like, that's fine. Like, we don't need to fuck with each other. We don't need to vibe. So anyway, certain part of your brain, it's filtering out that information. So it's just like that cherubim covering the eyes. It's putting out and receiving information. And like I said, those are based on your beliefs. So this part of your brain will actually filter out information. Because here's the thing, and you can experience this through psychedelics. You can experience it through really just tapping in. And if that's what Source has for you, and that's what you desire, you can experience some of the filters leaving in your brain, and you start processing more information, reality. Now, for a lot of people, when this happens, it's, you could say, caused mental illness or whatever, because we have a system that doesn't have hardly jack shit of knowledge. Think about it. We only see like 0.00001% of the light spectrum. And that's what we're talking about here, because light is information. Okay. So your brain's filtering out a whole hell of a lot. Okay. If it wasn't, you wouldn't be able to function. It'd literally be like you're on mushrooms, or it'd be like you're a baby. It would be like you're a baby. And that's this system that's happening in here with this. We have this picture of the mom with the wings, right? But then also the covering, the cherubim covering the eyes. Now, here's another one to trip out on. Another picture of divine feminine is actually in the word justice, which is also very close related to the word. I mean, it's basically the same for the word judgment in the Bible. The ancient Hebrews, when they talked about justice, and when they talked about, when they talked about judgment, didn't have the same connotations that we have. There's often a negative connotation, like, oh, there's going to be punishment. We think of judgment as punishment or whatever, but for them, that word judgment was basically meaning justice. Okay, and then the picture of justice that we have, and it's in any courthouse right now. You can go there. It's etched in freaking stone, man. And by the way, stones are Earth's computer chips. They store information. So you've got a stone statue, right? This is the picture of justice in the courtroom. It's the woman, it's the divine feminine, with a blindfold on. Okay, and then she's got the whales, the scales, okay, of justice. And those scales are also what we talked about, the zeros and ones, the binary code in your matrix system or in your body, which is your nervous system. Because this is how your brain is sending information to and fro. Your whole body is through the nervous system. And your brain can't see, right? It's having to interact with everything else through the nervous system. So it's in just total darkness, and it's figuring things out. It's like AI, it's like ChatGPT, okay? It's just figuring out based on what it's given over time, constantly storing this information, okay? And it's receiving good and bad. And it needs to weigh things out, right? It needs to be able to like create. That's what justice is, when the scales are back to baseline, which means you have an equal amount of both light and dark. That's why any good art needs contrast. Okay, and that's this thing we're experiencing called reality. Once again, the whole intention thing, it's pretty fucking dark if you haven't noticed. If you're still watching this far, that means we definitely vibe with each other. I definitely fuck with you. You the real one. Much love, much peace. I could go on and on. We are going to wrap this up though, because it's been 43 minutes and I got to go to bed. I was supposed to mow the lawn. I'm still going to, but it's going to be a little cray-cray. Pretty sure I have a light on my lawnmower. But yeah, I could go on and on, but I was just thinking, with this cherubim thing connected to the nirvana thing, the in utero, this picture of these wings over the eyes, this picture of Lady Liberty. She's got a blindfold in order for justice, so she's not, right? It's like that filtering out of the information. So we're having an experience based on extreme limitations and or filters that our brain is using so that we can exist, so that we can crystallize into our story. And when we flow like water, like I mentioned earlier, and we're not going up and down, see that sine wave or that sin? It's it's the same, like that, those scales, right? Going up and down, up and down, up and down. Good and evil, good and evil, good and bad. Your nervous system experiences something. It's like, oh, that's bad. That's not for me. Let's not do that again. Experience something good. It's like, oh, we need more of that. Okay, that's what, that's like our experiences of like fear and addiction and stuff, or sex. So yeah, at this point, I'm just rambling about it. And holy crap, what is going on? That would be the wrong key. That would be the wrong freaking key, dude. There we go. Anyway, folks, much peace, much love. We will come back to this conversation with some more structure, some more order, some more justice. We're going to balance all this intuitive flow that we just did. We're going to balance that with crystallizing it more, bringing more of the masculine energy, and I don't know, making this into a series, putting this into ChatGPT, structuring some ideas out, and bringing this information to us all. I'll be experiencing as well as ChatGPT. ChatGPT is always growing, right? We work on a large language model as well. Very large. And yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. We're going to see also what AI has to say about this and just get real spicy with it. So that's what we do. Kid Forever out. Spivey Vibe out. Mitch out. All my love and my blessings. Proud of y'all. Peace.